Alright, I'm here at Red River Gorge in Daniel Boone National Forest. We're going to be doing some arch hunting today. We're going to be doing a hidden trail, so I'm going to show you how to get to a specific hidden trail and a super cool arch, turtleback arch. So we're here on the Swift Camp Creek area. I'm here on the Rock Bridge Trail, and we are going to be kind of documenting how to get to Turtleback Arch. Right now, like I said, I'm on the Rock Bridge Trail. I'm at this little kind of plateau before it descends into the Swift Camp Creek area. You can see some naturally occurring fencing and guardrails and some beautiful fog over in the distance. When you see this naturally occurring bench, that's when you know that you're going the right way. When you get to the bottom of the hill, you're going to see these two signs that are going to point you in several directions depending on where you want to go. So we're going to be going this way to the left, but if you wanted to go to the right, you would go to Rock Bridge, which is a really cool arch, and actually one of the only natural bridges in the gorge because it is over flowing water. But we're going to go this way towards the Wildcat Trail to get to Turtleback Arch. So I stumbled upon these cut down trees in the middle of the forest, or in the middle of the trail. And one cool fact about them is that the reason that they are black on the end, it kind of looks like they're burnt. That's because when they get cut down, we use kerosene kind of as a lubricant for the saws. So I'm actually on the crew that cuts these down about once a month, and we use kerosene to kind of lubricate the saws whenever they get sticky, because that's a good way to dissolve the sap and kind of get everything the way you want it to go in a good flow. And so one byproduct of that is that it makes the logs look black. So if you ever walk in and you see that, now you know. One of the things you'll see often also is these little kind of side campsites. I don't know if you can see it from this video, but we have a little campfire going on there. It looks like they put it out okay. But just remember that if you're trying to camp in the gorge, you should do so at least 300 feet away from a trail, just to kind of protect the trail and the wildlife, and try not to camp next to water. That's where a lot of animals get their food and drink and everything, and it kind of messes them up, freaks them out, so they end up not getting what they need to get because they're freaked out by people camping there. Another thing to note is that you should always follow these diamond blazes in case you ever get lost. So if you're going this way, do not go right. You want to go right here with a diamond blaze, as that'll point you in the right direction. Depending on what day you come on and how much it has rained, this creek that you cross may be very high or maybe very low. It just depends. So you're going to do a tiny little creek crossing and then keep on the trail. Okay, so once you've crossed that creek and you've kind of rounded up the top of the hill, you can keep going straight and that'll take you to Turtleback Arch. But if you want to take a little side detour, it's a lot easier to see in person, and also in the wintertime. This little side trail will take you to a historic site, Bearpen Branch Still. So pretty neat. I'm going to go up there and see what it's all about. Alright, so we have here the Bearpen Branch Still. And there it is in all of its glory. Fenced off by the Forest Service. Pretty cool sight to see when you're out here. You can see there's some people try to get in that way. But yeah, it's an old Prohibition era still that people were using here at the Gorge. So some cool little Kentucky history, little side detour on the trail. Now we're gonna get back onto the main Swift Camp Creek Trail and keep going towards Turtleback Arch. Make sure when you go down that you're being careful, especially on a day like today where it's very slippery and wet, so you don't hurt yourself while you're hiking. Alright, so right before we get onto the trailhead of Turtleback Arch, which is coming up pretty soon, I don't know if you can hear it in the distance. You may be able to see it, but there is a waterfall, and there's a little offshoot from the trail here, which you can go and see the waterfall that way. So there's two little ones here. This first one, if you're coming from the parking lot, this one has a little bit of a boulder or bouldering involved and some scrambling. This one's a little bit easier, so I would say if you're less comfortable with climbing, definitely go on the second one. Alright, so you're going to come to this kind of lookout of the waterfalls themselves. And there's a little fork in the road here. You could go right or you could go left to get down there if you wanted to. I've done some walking around and I've determined that right is the best way to go, although you might need a rope, especially if it's wet like today. Alright, so I'm here at these falls. I think they're called Pooch Turtle Falls, if I'm not mistaken. I'll put the right name of them on the screen, but you can see why there's turtle in the name. Because one, they're close to the trailhead for Turtleback Arch, but also because it kind of looks like a turtle. So this is kind of a neat little spot. You do have to do a little bit of a scramble to get down here, but it is pretty neat. Now when it snows and when it gets really cold, this will actually freeze over. We weren't as lucky today, but it is still pretty cold. We've also got a nice little rock shelter here, so some good gorge features we've got going on here. No lookouts, but we got a little rock feature and a waterfall, which is really nice. One thing to note is if you're camping here, make sure you clean up after yourself. You know, it kind of hurts the wildlife and everything going around when you leave your garbage, you know, just in a tree like this. Like this is a squirrel's house, or this could be, you know, some shelter for a smaller animal and you put some garbage in it. So if you are, you know, camping out here, just make sure you're packing out what you pack in. Alright, so this is kind of the climb to get down here. It wasn't too bad. I brought my own rope. You can see right there, there's a little foothold. And then there's some, if it would focus, there we go. It's got a little spot right there where you can kind of chill out. So really it's not too bad. You just go up there and then over there, down, and then right down here. So it's not too bad. And here is the aforementioned foothold, which makes this a whole lot easier to do. Now we're going to continue on this trail. We're almost to the Turtleback Arch trailhead. Alright, so we got a little bit of a creek crossing here. That's okay. This creek actually feeds the waterfalls that I was showing you earlier. But once you cross this creek, you'll notice that the trail splits two ways. If you go right, that'll keep you on the Swift Camp Creek Trail, but left will take you on Turtleback Arch, which is where we are going. Alright, so again, we made the creek crossing. If we continue to go right at this fork, we would keep on the Swift Camp Creek Trail, but we want to go to the left, and that'll take us to Turtleback Arch. So let's go this way to Turtleback Arch. We're going to come across some campsites, just keep going straight. It's going to be a little tricky kind of finding where all the trails are, especially now in the fall. Most people say that it's easier to find the hidden trails in the fall. I disagree. There's a whole bunch of leaves and stuff everywhere. I guess it's easier than in the summer when there's a whole bunch of growth. Generally what you want to do so you don't get lost going up this hill is stay to the left. Just try not to go that way too much. And just stay on what looks like the trail going up and a little bit to the left. And then once you finish a classic Red River Gorge scramble, you just keep going on this ridge past this slab rock here. And that's how you know you're in the right place. It looks like you're able to come up from this way too, although I came from that way past that campsite. I think it all kind of converges in the same place. So even if you get lost, just try to remember, go up the hill, look for this slab, and you'll be good to go. We're gonna keep going straight. Here's a spot where it could potentially get tricky. There's a little bit of a scramble going up, but it's not too bad. So once you get on top, then you'll be good to go. All right, so I made it on top. It wasn't too bad. So I think it wasn't as hard as like Cloud Splitter or anything. So it was pretty easy, I would say. We're gonna keep following this trail and see where it takes us. All right, so eventually you're gonna come up to these little holy things, which is a good sign of things to come. You're going to be tempted to want to climb up here, although I would not recommend it. You want to go down here, and that will take you to the arch itself. If you climbed up here, you would be going over the arch, and we actually want to see it, so we're going to go underneath and through it. Just keep going on this trail, and it'll take you right to the arch. All right, so here we are, Turtleback Arch. You can see kind of like the falls. Here's where it gets its name from. This kind of looks like a turtleback. We got a little bit of water dripping down there, but that's okay. So yeah, here we are, it's Turtleback Arch. And here it is from the other side. We have a little baby Turtleback Arch over here, and it's good luck to go through that, so that's what I'm about to do. All right, and once you've had your fun, here at Turtleback Arch, you just want to go straight that way. So there's the baby Turtleback Arch. Just keep going along the ridge, and you're going to loop around, and eventually we're going to be up there. So we've climbed up. Now we're on top of Turtleback Arch. So the actual arch itself is, I think it's about right here. Now we're just going to go back to the road. So that's pretty much how you get to Turtleback Arch. I'll document some stuff on the road. So if you come in from that way, you can kind of get your bearings. But yeah, that's how you get there. So at this point, you can turn around and come back the way you came, or you can do what I'm doing and you can go to the road. So we are going forward. We're on top of Turtleback Arch right now. Here's a little campsite on top. You can either go right or left. We're not going to go right, that does not go anywhere. We're going left. Up there, there's a rock formation that you can't see, but we're going up there. And here is said rock formation. We're going up. Just continue along the side of this rock formation for a while. There's going to be a good vantage point where we can make our way up to the top. We are quickly approaching it right here. So here we have the famous leaning tree, or the tree for leaning on. The tree itself isn't leaning, but you can see that, well, somebody left some rope that got cut off, but that's okay. You can see the black part there is from people leaning on this tree. That's because it's in a convenient spot. So we're going to get up there, and then we're going to make our way to the road. Alright, so that was actually fairly easy. You don't actually really need that rope, so it wasn't too bad. We're going to keep going up this way and follow for the road. The main direction to consider when you're heading back to the road is you want to be going west. Now, I'm hiking this, it's like 11:30 right now, so the sun is right behind me pretty much, so I know that I'm going west because the sun rises in the east and I'm going the opposite direction. Just make sure you kind of know where you're going. If you need a compass, bring a compass. But the trail itself, pretty well defined, so I say it's pretty hard to get lost. Here's a little campsite that I found, kind of neat. Can't really see it from that angle, but from here, looks like the tree's kind of doing like a Michael Phelps kind of thing, or it looks like a bird, I don't know, but it's a cool looking tree. So that's how you know you're going in the right direction, when you see this tree. It looks like Michael Phelps or a bird. Alright, so eventually you're going to come to this three-way intersection, and there's an arrow here that'll tell you to go left. You go back to the road. I'm gonna go right because there are some cool overlooks that way. So if you decide to turn right, you'll actually go to an overlook, and if you see, somebody's left very kindly these yellow duct tape pieces, and we are about to follow them. We're gonna see where this leads us. Just be careful when you get to this point. There is a bit of some deadfall, but you can go around it and of course enjoy the overlook. You're gonna get to this deadfall section, but the yellow tape runs out, but these orange things take over, so just follow those. Once you get to this campsite, you can kind of get a good preview of what's to come. Although, kind of a bad angle here, but if we go through this little thicket, and when you're on these cliffs, be very careful because this is a steep drop off and you can hear the water. But check that out. Wow. Look at all those pine trees and the cliffside over there. Now I'm pretty far away from the edge, so I'm not gonna fall. But this is definitely a very good view. So definitely would recommend, if you're in the area, would check it out again. But of course, for the main attraction, you want to just keep going down this way. All right, once you've reached the end of the line, pretty much, which is right here. I mean, if you wanted to, you could sit there and kind of enjoy the view, but it's kind of obstructed by trees. The main view is from that ledge right there. So we are headed there right now. Here's a campfire. If you're camping by a cliffside, check out that view. If you're camping by a cliffside, just be careful. The Forest Service doesn't really recommend it for obvious reasons. Here's another remnant of a campfire. But look at that, wow. That's cool. And if you listen carefully, you can hear some of the waters. I'm not exactly sure which creek it is. I'll put the right one on screen right now. But yeah, that's cool. So we came up from that way, and now we are here. This is kind of like a mini Hanson's Point. If you guys have ever been to Hanson's Point? So this is really cool. I like this. And of course, in classic Red River Gorge fashion, we have this tree right in the middle here, right in the middle of the view. But that's okay. That's part of the view, and we like to just enjoy it how it is. And the sun has come out, so we're gonna head back to the car now. Just come back the way you came. Honestly, the biggest help for me coming here and doing this trail, specifically this Overlook section right here, follow the Unofficial trail places. They were a big help, especially in the downed woods section, because there is a big section where there's just a bunch of trees that have fallen down. And it's kind of hard to navigate. I thought I should have gone one way just based on my intuition, but the magic tape pointed me in the other direction, so I followed that, and here I am with no issue getting here. So we definitely recommend doing that and following that trailblaze. There are two that I mentioned earlier. There is the yellow duct tape, which in some spots is falling off. And then there's the pink tape. The pink tape, I would say, is more helpful in the main parts where the trees have fallen down. And actually, there is no pink tape at the beginning of the trail. Yellow tape, mostly just to keep you on the right path at the beginning. It's really not super necessary, but it's good to keep you in the right direction. So I would definitely just be aware of your surroundings, be aware of where you're going, of what direction you're headed, and it's kind of hard to get lost. Now, it is possible, but just be aware of that kind of stuff. Always take a map. You can check in the video description. I've made a link to, there's a map that I have altered of Red River Gorge with the secret trails and all that interesting stuff. So I'll link that in the description. I'll also link a specific map for this trail So if you just want to do this trail and you don't want the entire map of the gorge, you can do that. You can see exactly where I'm going, where I've been. So right now, just headed back to the car. Should be about a mile. Once I get back to the road, it's half a mile, and then I walked about half a mile to get here, so it should be about a mile. Not too bad, not too bad. Definitely very accessible, except for the tree part. It's not horrible. If you can lift yourself onto the kitchen counter, I would say you could do this tree part. And I'll get some videos of that here coming up, but honestly, it's pretty good. Now, the view, I would say, is excellent, top-notch. Definitely not the best in the gorge, but really good. So, if you have the time while you're out here, checking out Turtleback Arch, if you're in the area and you got some time to stop, you know, check out the views. Definitely would recommend coming out to this little overlook area. It was well worth the time. Here's an example of some down trees. This one was easier coming the other way because you can use that as a platform and then get on here, but this one's not too bad. You just swing one leg up and then you move yourself over, and that's all there is to it. And then we got these lifesavers right here. Follow those and you will be headed in the right direction. Okay, so this is really cool here. So this tree right now is being decomposed by these puffballs. Now these puffballs are pretty mature. They've actually exploded all of their pores, but you can see this right here, these kind of root looking things. That's the mycelium of these puffballs, and they're decomposing the tree. They're sucking out the nutrients from the tree and they are converting it into things that are useful for other plants. So this is the decomposition cycle at work right before our very eyes here in Red River Gorge. If you're looking at the video and you're thinking to yourself, what the heck are all these white leaves that look like paper? Sometimes when I'm hiking, I think these look like somebody's toilet paper or garbage that they've left. These are actually leaves from the broadleaf magnolia. The broadleaf magnolia is, well, there's a remnant of it right there. They are related to the rhododendron that you see all around the gorge. And so, that's kind of a cool little nature fact for you, that everything here, well, not everything here is specifically directly related, but they're kind of cousins, which is pretty neat. It's funny that even when you think, you know, you're in a spot that not a lot of people go to, you still see campsites and fires and stuff like that. So kind of goes to show you that even if you think you're in uncharted territory in the gorge, chances are, if you somehow got there, you are not anywhere that somebody hasn't been before. Alright, I can't stress this enough. If you think that you're going in the wrong direction, if the trail looks like it's not as well developed as it has been, then you probably turned around the wrong way. I've done this twice so far. Don't panic when you do it. It's okay. It happens to the best of us. What you do, don't panic. Just turn around and go to where you last saw a marker, whether that be a yellow marker or a pink marker, and just retrace your steps. Don't worry. You'll find your way out. It's harder coming out, I would say, than going in. Not sure. I think it's just the trails are less defined coming back that way. But that's basically what I've noticed. And just, if you get lost or if you get turned around, just retrace your steps. It's not that bad. So I'm back on the main trail right now. And headed back to that fork that we were at earlier, and hopefully back to the car after that. Alright, once you get back to the arrow, just follow it back to the road. you'll be back to the parking lot and in good company. Considering this trail is unofficial, I'm surprised at the amount of trail work that has been done on this. So if you're looking for a good unofficial trail with some good trail work done on it, it's relatively clean. You, I guess, can go on Turtleback Arch. Now that's that part I went on earlier with the Overlook. People haven't done as much trail work on that, but I mean, I guess other than this giant tree, there have been examples of people just cutting in between to make the trails a little bit nicer. So that was just an interesting observation. All right, so here we are on the road, Rockbridge Road. So we have completed our journey for now, except I have parked at the picnic area, not at this pull-off. So these guys are maybe a little bit smarter than me, I don't know, but I got to see the waterfalls, so that was kind of cool. So you're gonna turn left on Rockbridge Road and head about half a mile to the picnic area. Alright, so I think I'm gonna end the video right here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know where else you would like me to go in the comment section down below. Got some interesting ones planned. I'm going to another trail later today, so that'll be coming up. But if you have any suggestions for where I should go next at the Gorge, definitely leave it in the comments section down below. Also in the description, we're going to have the link to the PDF of the map that I made of the Gorge. That'll be my annotated map of just a giant map of the Gorge with all the hidden trails on it. It's more of a reference than it is an actual guide, but it's definitely useful, I would say. It helped me a lot today. And then I'll include a more detailed map of the route that I did today, so you guys can follow along and see if maybe that's something you want to do in the future. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, I guess, if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't like it. And I'll see you guys next time.